We will now have sophomore Stefan TEDx talk about the importance of coding.
Apparently, I'm an optimist. Why? Because there's zero doubt in my mind that my peers, my classmates, all 100% of you can build a successful life. I mean a life where you can be productive and contribute to your town, your country, and the world at large. Regardless of your IQ, regardless of where you come from, your age, everyone can be successful. Everyone can learn how to code. Let me explain by going backwards. 6 years ago, when I was 10, I really had no particular mission in mind when I began coding. I just found it very interesting to learn step by step how to make a little worm go across the screen, eat something, burp, and then start over. I even remember writing my first line of code. Very generic to say the least. It comes back to printing out the classic hello world in the console. Again, I had no idea where I was going with this. I was merely just pursuing a small passion that I had to learn a little about programming and what it is. And the more I learned about programming, the more I became in love with it. And I became in love with programming because I realized it provided an endless world of creativity where you could build whatever you want and express yourself. Programming really is the act of creating. It is the act of creation. It's actually very amazing to say the least, as code is the underlying factor to many of the things we do and depend on. Apps, computers, phones, mobile devices, and even the sound system I'm using right now are all dependent upon the language of technology, code. And the more as time progresses, the more that coding will have an impact on our lives. Right now, I'm using a language to create inspiration, curiosity, and emotions. This language just happens to be English, but as technology becomes a greater influence on our daily lives, the more that programming languages and code will soon become part of the vocabulary we use to communicate and create. What I'm trying to say is, the more that coding takes part in our daily lives, the more it is necessary that this generation and generations to come are inspired to program, inspired to innovate using the tools of technology. This is your opportunity to participate in this new economy. But it's not just learning programming that's the important part here, it's also understanding the potential of what you can do with it once you have this skill. If you have an idea for an app, coding gives you the opportunity to build it. Want to develop a game? Code it. Build a website, create a new social media app, even start your own company. Programming has given me the opportunity to compete in the Apple App Store market. It's given me the opportunity to expose billions of people around the world to my 5 apps that I developed, my 5 creations. There are so many things you can do with programming and so many opportunities that it brings. With programming, you don't have a skill which companies can hire you for. But not only does coding mean job opportunities, it also means the freedom to pursue nearly any career you wish. For example, last summer, with the skills I've acquired so far in the past years, I was able to be the head iOS developer of a startup coming out of the Stanford Business School, and at the same time, work at an innovative mobile messaging company in San Francisco, BimbleChat. And none of these companies were ever concerned with the fact that I was 15 years old. All they cared about were my skills, and if I had the right skill set to do what they needed me to do. People need to understand the value of the skill and the freedom it gives you to participate in the tech world. Right now in the United States alone, there are over 5.5 million job openings in the tech industry, all waiting to be filled, and this number doesn't even include the hundreds of thousands of project postings and freelance jobs available online. The opportunities are truly endless. So maybe you want to learn how to program, or maybe you have an idea about programming that makes you not want to engage with this challenge of learning it. A lot of people don't know where to start, or don't have the right view of programming. They have the wrong view of knowing how complicated it is to start. Many people say, oh, I have to go to the best college to learn this skill, or I'm not smart enough, you have to have the highest IQ for this, or some people just don't want to engage with this challenge. But my message is, all these barriers that you see are disappearing. Yes, coding used to be hard, but with the release of new programming languages and easier syntax, innovating and learning to code is now easier than ever. There are an unbelievable amount of educational outlets online. Udacity, Udemy, Code Academy, Code Central. These are all websites accessible by anyone, anywhere, that teach you how to code. In fact, Udacity even promises a job upon completion of their course. This even inspired me to create my own courses. Right now on Udemy, I have 3 courses teaching anyone how to program and how to develop iOS apps. I currently have thousands of students from over 130 countries around the world involved in my courses. My point is, it is now more available than ever, and it's more available and cheaper than it has ever been before to learn the skills and the tools that enable a technology-oriented world. There are no more excuses to not programming anymore. Dive in, take the challenge, learn to code, take that first step. It is time to say, hello world.